I think Mr. Arun Maira talked about use of things, and Professor Raghavan came around and said, we are going to set up these, 5.5 billion projects that are going to happen on NOFN and DTH. And around this use of things, there's a great opportunity for electronics. So whether there is an opportunity within the network itself for network components, or there is an opportunity for all those things that we use at the end, at the consumer end, which is tablets, phones, and a whole bunch of electronic equipment, and whole bunch of other products which will be required when you start to look at agriculture like sensors. So I think what it really presents is a huge opportunity for the industry to look at and see what we can do with this. So I think with this tremendous two inputs that we've got today from Mr. Arun Maira and Professor Raghavan, I'd like to throw this open for people to ask questions, and I think please be very brief. Please don't make statements. Please do ask questions so that we have an opportunity to get some more inputs on this subject.
So my question is basically to Mr. Mehra about policy initiatives and all this innovation and growth of electronics industry. The basic link where disruption is still there is the right kind of product design engineers in the electronics industry. So, and this initiative has to come from academia as well as the industry. There's a major gap which is somehow, in spite of all the efforts and all the talks, is not being filled. So any concrete steps to, turbo speed this particular initiative, which will actually leverage and enable the growth of the electronics manufacturing? Because product design, we are very weak.
Thank you. Actually, I'm also going to request very quickly Ajay and yourself, Professor Raghavan, to talk about this. I'll say at the policy making level, in terms of the creation of the processes and the institutions, as Professor Raghavan said, maybe the job of the policymakers is to establish the processes and not to give the solutions. Right? So we know that the process of collaboration between industry and academia in this country is at the moment not strong enough. We also do know that perhaps industry is not investing in India, Indian industry particularly, enough in research and development on its side. And it may not be doing pure research. It has to be doing process research, application research, converting, as he said, the idea into then something practical that can be sold. Foreign companies are doing it in this industry. I mean, they do a lot of their research here in India because the talent is available in this country, but the benefit of it is going back into some global chains, which they have some ownership of the intellectual property and the profits that come out of it. Indian universities and research establishments have been for many years, I'm going to make it easy, on a trip of their own. Yeah, it's a nice academic trip of their own. And their metrics, now we're insisting, should be the number of research papers that you publish in international journals and patents and so on. And that's good too. But I want to point out that we have to leapfrog things because we are far behind at the moment. So if something is being done elsewhere and they are well ahead of us, merely our doing that thing is not going to make us leapfrog. If what they are doing needs to be rethought, then I think we should do what is required. So having said that, in the case of research and patents and R&D in labs, I think the world is recognizing that solutions are not coming out fast enough and cheap enough to provide affordable solutions for the people of the world. Okay? So the research establishment can also go on their own trip of being recognized amongst their peers, and it's not related to the needs of people on the ground. So you do need industry in between, because they have to sell, so they have to be in need of the ground there. So we are in India now inducing through incentives provided to industry, to also different incentives and measurements of the research institutions. How are they collaborating together? And the judgment finally is, are you producing something that is serving the needs of people who don't have much money to pay for it. And India is a great place to test it out, of course, because the largest such to do that. So this is the thrust, really, of our policy to ensure that the three institutions I'm going to talk over here, one is the industry institutions which produce and they could do their own research. One is the pure research institutions, government funded perhaps, which are doing more at the idea level research and breakthrough technology research. And then we also have to have people who are funding these, especially for the industry side, the venture capital is required to convert ideas of small enterprises into so. And so we recognize that that part of the ecosystem in this country is not strong enough. It's not easy for a small entrepreneur to get money for a new idea. So we are building the National India Innovation Fund as a fund of funds, like a catalyst, to help small ideas that are being developed. It could be developed by a foreign company here, doesn't matter. But small idea which seems risky but is targeted towards the needs of people who don't have much money to pay. So it's not targeted towards producing another Viagra product or the next iPhone or something for which there is a market, right? But our pull is those needs which are not being served by the present establishment of research, development, Apple and so on, which is very strong, but to start another ecosystem, which is going to produce results for this, in which these three institutions, financial institutions, industrial institutions, and government and research institutions have to play together.
Sir, the major gap is coming in the MSME part. You know, the growth driver is not only the large corporates, but MSME. The large corporates, large organizations can afford to train their own engineers. But the MSME needs well-trained, employable engineers. I'm not talking the fundamental research or the high-end research. I'm talking about the product design, quality, validation, testing, coming up with a reliable, rugged products which people can use in India, or maybe even we can export. So that's the gap where we need special thrust if you want the manufacturing to come up. That was my
Thank you. Yeah.
MSME part.
We recognize that we don't have the final solution, or maybe there never should be a final solution, but we are looking for even better next solutions in that area to assist the MSMEs, the small, to get the technology that they could use to improve, their product and their process. There are two ways to do this very broadly, you might say. One of them is to the larger companies should see these as places where they could, invest a little. It's a little experiment for them also, and to help them along. So the large companies should have an ecosystem around them of a more innovative small MSMEs. So that's one. The number two is that in the government philosophies about how to grow industry, we have very deliberately said this time that we are going to take guidance not merely from the big boys. Although usually the policy making is you call the big boys and say, what should be done for industry? You really don't know what is pinching the small industries, which are really your nurseries, your seedbeds of future growth. So this time in making the policy for manufacturing, we have very deliberately called the small industries alongside the large ones. And even after the large ones have spoken, we've asked them, what would you say for the small ones also? To get that voice much more salient in our policy making.
What has been discussed today, yesterday we had a session on entrepreneurship and innovation, how to catalyze that. What has been discussed today very well correlates to the discussion we had yesterday, where the point was that as a country, we are recognizing projects of national priority. These are key national priorities, what Dr. Raghavan so beautifully laid out. Now, these are national priorities. If we are able to connect those with the entrepreneurs and innovation, and I would say a lot of it will really come from small ground-up enterprises who, and so there would be enough entrepreneurs who can actually solve these problems. However, worldwide, and that's what that's one of the ecosystems missing right now. Worldwide, what has happened is that countries have identified problems of national importance, and here is a solution which is unsolved in the world. Now, for such solutions, we connect and government assisted, you become an early customer to this innovation, which is going to bear fruit over next n number of years. So that early customer association with the entrepreneurs is really the key to solving some of these important problems for the country, as well as India leapfrogging into solving the very same problems for the rest of the world, which Dr. Raghavan so beautifully said that. The earlier we have this ecosystem established and tie up the knots, that entrepreneurship is not looking into a risky, highly risky an area. I know you develop innovation, which is so expensive and costly, but at the end of time, there is nobody to assure a customer who would really use that. That's my submission. If the policy measure could connect these dots together and thereby kick off the innovative entrepreneurship within the country to solve national problems and thereby take the global position, global leadership.
But you've got the right thrust. That you're saying is that if there's a larger goal which everybody cares about, then the chances that there will be collaboration amongst the people towards achieving that larger goal is much higher. If you don't have a large goal, why would people collaborate? For what are they going to collaborate? So to identify the needs of the system, which everybody says, yes, we should go after meeting those needs, is a first requirement. Now to convert this into an actual policy plan, which will get entrepreneurs assisted and involved, here there's a problem. We have one set of things where we say, for example, I'm just using an example, we need to have a submarine made in this country very quickly and made by ourselves, supposing I'm using as an example. So it's a very concrete solution that you want at the end of it. As a contrast, if I said, we need to grow a lot of solar energy solutions, and so it's a more diffused goal. It's not very concrete that there is a submarine with this type of capability required. If I take the submarine idea, then I want to get it done very quickly because there is a time and there's something to be achieved. Then I want to pick a partner or two and say, I'm going to invest a lot of money, give you a lot of money, and you're going to do this. For example, the Silicon Fab is a similar thing. It's a very concrete thing, and I'll have to pick one or two, and I've got to be very careful about who they are, do they have the capability, and to do that. Okay? But if you're talking about growing an ecosystem, which is going to be innovative and to produce lots of things, like the solar, then I can't take one technology and one objective. I have to induce, but I take your idea that demand has to be aggregated somewhere. There has to be something concrete that we are working towards. So the aggregation of demand can only be done by government purchases today. See, I mentioned that, yes, there was a WTO situation, or there was no WTO, say 30 years ago, when countries could follow certain industrial policies, it was acceptable. But once the WTO came, and it says that you have to keep your markets open, you cannot, the only remaining thing is government for itself can say, I will buy, provided you meet certain requirements, certain specifications, certain local production requirements. Only the government's own purchases can do that. And so in policy making, we are finding ways to try and aggregate, which in a way that is legally acceptable across the world. How do we aggregate some demands, which the government can then use as an incentive to invite whether small companies or big companies to deliver against that?